And here on the SportsMax Zone, we're still talking about Europe's elite from the UEFA Champions League here on the SportsMax Zone. More quality football to come this Wednesday in the competition, and here is what you can look forward to for these midweek fixtures. Atalanta at home to Celtic, Bayer Leverkusen travelling to Brest, RB Leipzig home to Liverpool, Man City taking on Sparta Prague, Lille will be facing Atletico Madrid, RB Salzburg facing Dinamo Zagreb, Feyenoord will be tackling Benfica, Young Boys at home to Inter, and Barcelona will be up against Bayern Munich. These are Wednesday's fixtures. Ahead of the matchup against the club he led to the domestic treble in 2019-2020 season, Barcelona head coach Hansi Flick was asked about facing his former club and his side's difficulties against Bayern Munich in past matchups. And he said, "I had a great time there with great memories, but I'm living a new chapter now at Barca. Bayern are a team in good form with a lot of confidence. They're a top team with great players. The past doesn't matter. The present is what's important. Whatever happened in the past, we can't change. We can only influence what happens tomorrow. Of course, we want to try and beat Bayern Munich." Hansi Flick there, the Barcelona coach. Now, the Bayern head coach, Vincent Kompany, gave respect to Flick's time at Bayern, but says he's more focused on what's in front of him. And here's what he said. Hansi was not just a coach at Bayern, but a very successful coach, a person who represented the club in a way that is still spoken about today. I actually just want to talk about the match tomorrow. That's the only important thing. I do understand the surroundings, all that is around the match, increasing the drama of the match tomorrow, but it's just about the 90 minutes, and that will have its own history. Vincent Kompany, the Bayern Munich head coach. No substitution for Brent Sancho in this half. He's still here with us on Zoom as we kick off our preview. Let's start with that Barcelona-Bayern Munich fixture. I know Barcelona are up against the Real Madrid in El Clasico this weekend. They'll probably be watching closely what Real Madrid had to offer today. But of course, Bayern is first up for them. Your thoughts on that fixture?
Yeah, what a week of football for Barcelona. This Barcelona team under Hansi Flick have come in for high praises, and rightfully so. What we've seen for them so far has been certainly astonishing. They've been top billing. They've played some very good football. They've pressed and stifled teams and played in a Hansi Flick way. One thing we know about this fixture, Lance, is that Hansi Flick is going to play his way. He's not going to adapt to the other team. He will play without fear. I expect them to come out on the front foot, and I expect them to try to put Bayern Munich under a lot of pressure. On the other side, I think Bayern Munich does have a few questions as it relates to players coming out from injuries. Of course, Musiala is the most talked about one, and how they would cope with that midfield that would have to be critically important if they are to get a result against Barcelona.
Yeah, Lewandowski has lost both of his Champions League fixtures against his former club as he lines up here for Barcelona. But when you look at the history of these two clubs and the fact that they are giants in European football, how much do you think maybe Hansi Flick's knowledge, intimate knowledge of Bayern Munich's culture and what the club represents, how much could he use that to his benefit in strategizing for this game?
I think he knows what it means to the Bayern Munich club and what it would mean to the organization. But in terms of tactical approaches, I think what Vincent Kompany has been able to bring is a little bit different than what we've seen in the past at Bayern Munich. From a formation point of view, both teams would practically line up in a similar type of 4-2-3-1 formation. But I think really the game hinges in that midfield battle. And because both teams have issues as it relates to injuries, whether Dani Olmo would play in the 10th position, would he shift Rafinha into that 10th position? Of course, I mentioned that Musiala, there are one or two other injuries within the Bayern Munich squad. But I think potentially this game would be won or lost in the middle of the park. And that's why I'm emphasizing from that perspective that both teams will have to have their A game in that particular area of the park. It's nothing for us to suggest that Bayern Munich can't come out of this victory, because they have those sorts of results in the past, and they do have the pedigree to go on to do that. However, when you look at this Barcelona team and what Hansi Flick has been able to do in this short space of time, you would obviously think that they are favorites. And the real question is, as I said, that midfield situation with Dani Olmo. I think if he starts, he gives them a better opportunity to go on and win the football game.
Yeah, and speaking about, Hansi Flick coming into the Barcelona setup, getting the best out of the players, because when you look at them very closely in La Liga, I mean, they've been doing well, they've been getting the necessary points. Different goals are coming from different players, so they're not having a problem when it comes to goal scoring. Even defensively, they look really good in La Liga. Now they come into Champions League against a Bayern Munich side. I saw a poster boy there, Harry Kane versus this squad. Let's talk a bit about, what will be expected of Harry Kane if he is to, of course, lead his team into a win.
I think what Harry Kane is good at, and what makes him such a well sought out striker, is he's known for scoring important goals. And I wouldn't expect anything different from him. He's a type of player now that fully has understood his role at Bayern Munich, dropping a bit deep, picking the ball and making sure that they circulate play. But what he's been important for at the Bayern Munich is scoring those important goals. And we all know that he's capable of doing that. We all know that he can have quiet games and just poke a toe or nose in and be able to score. And that's what he's good at. And I think Barcelona cannot for 1 second fall asleep. Of course, they do have the challenges in the goal. Of course, they're Stegen not there anymore. They've been utilizing a variety of goalkeepers to come into there. So there are some question marks when it relates to Barcelona and what they would present in this fixture. But it really comes down to this Barcelona team. And it's funny, I was looking into the preview of this game. Not too long ago, we were talking about all these different levers that Barcelona need to pull to bring in all these big superstars. But their success have hinged on the talent of La Masia, which is their academy. So it suggests to you that a lot of what they've been able to, Hansi Flick has built on, is the young players coming in, and he's put a lot of trust in these players, and they have delivered.
Yeah, a quick prediction before we just talk a bit about Liverpool RB Leipzig.
Tough one. But I do think the form that Barcelona is in, I think they will win this one. I'll go with a safe one, 2-1.
Yeah, thanks for that prediction. Hoping Barcelona can close this one out, Brent. And what are your thoughts on the RB Leipzig-Liverpool fixture? Do you think Liverpool can close this one out?
Yeah, there was a lot of question marks when he came in and whether or not he continue on as to what the success that Jurgen Klopp would have had for Liverpool. I think one of the things, and I've said this many times on this show and in other shows as it relates to SportsMax, I always was concerned with Jurgen Klopp's one-dimensional approach to football games. I've had many discussions about it, and we spoke about it a lot. What I've been impressed with Arne Slot so far is that he has been flexible tactically, and I think you have to give him credit. I looked at the Spurs game now. Many Liverpool fans may not have been happy that they sat and was able and sucked up a lot of the Spurs pressure at Anfield. However, it just showed to me that he has the flexibility to understand that his team can play in transition and can, of course, play in a lower block and able to still be very potent in what they do. And that has really been a breath of fresh air for me, for a new manager coming into an already successful program. He's not rebuilding here. He's coming into a very successful program. So you have to give him a lot of credit for the flexibility he has shown and the ability to adapt to a very difficult English Premier League and now have Liverpool firing on all cylinders. They're top of the Premiership.
Yeah, and what's even cooler is Jurgen Klopp. He is head of global soccer at the Red Bull Group. So, I mean, it's not going to affect what happens on the pitch, Brent, but it's kind of cool, right? Liverpool versus the old Liverpool?
I think it'll probably have room for a nice dinner there at the Liverpool headquarters for the game. He'd probably go see some of his old staff and have a glass of wine or so, but I think that's where it ends. It really comes down to obviously how both managers approach this game. And, I mentioned about Slot because I've been really impressed with what he's done. That's why I think they're favorites to win, and that's why I think they'll win tomorrow, because I trust in his tactical approaches. I trust in his ideas, and I trust in the fact that he has been able to look at teams and adjust accordingly. Not many managers are able to do that in the modern day game, but he is able to do that. And more importantly, his players buy into it. And I think that's why I think Liverpool has a very good chance of winning this fixture.
Yeah, and I'm surprised before we wrap the segment, Brent, that Ramrat didn't ask you anything about Manchester City's Sparta Prague clash tomorrow.
Because we're winning. There's no question about that.
I think she thinks it's a very straightforward one for Manchester City, and I would think so as well. Look, I do think that, looking forward, there's something about City that does not speak to me like it did last season. There's no Kevin De Bruyne. There's one or two injuries with this squad. But albeit that being said, I think that the shout or the loud out that I felt from Manchester City going on and winning on both fronts, I felt that last season. This season, something just seems to be a step short. However, this is Pep Guardiola, and I'm very sure he can change things quite quickly.
Yeah, well, don't say anything more, Brent, for fear of Ramrat starting to dislike you. So just leave it there.
I already deleted his number.
I am finished. I promise. I'm done.
Okay, Brent, we'll talk again tomorrow, I'm sure, because there's Champions League, as we said, tomorrow, and SportsMax will have live coverage, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Thanks, Brent.
Hi, guys. Have a great one.
Bye, Brent.
Yeah, and we'll be back with more on the SportsMax Zone after this.